Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Complete Sports Media Podcast. I'm your host, Darren Campbell. We're on the Complete Media Network tonight. And as usual, Monday weekend wrap up with sports. Jason Cameron joins us to do that. Hey, buddy, how's it going?
Not too bad, not too bad. Doing pretty good. Pretty good.
Good to hear. Good weekend.
Yeah, good weekend. Saw some family on Friday night, so it was good. Visited with some friends Saturday. That was good. It's a good weekend.
Good to hear. There's lots to talk about. Canucks played on the weekend last night, actually, hosting the Winnipeg Jets. It was the first time there was fans in the building in 570 days. That was just exclusively to season ticket holders. And so no tickets available to the regular public, but tomorrow night, first game where the regular public can buy tickets. I'm going to go see them play the new Seattle Kraken. And I was at the last game, New York Islanders in March, and then the pandemic hit, shut everything down. And I'll be at the first game you can get to be at for a fan. So I'm pretty excited. It'll be kind of cool to see the new look Canucks. They just signed their two big stars, and 570 days is a long time between games.
Yeah, no, it's a heck of a long time, and it's weird to say it like that.
Yeah,
but that's the world that we live in right now. So, but it should be very exciting for you to go and see the Canucks finally, see them live.
Yeah,
and it's gonna be great.
Kind of cool to see them against the Kraken too. That's going to be an instant rivalry. It'll be the closest game that Canucks fans can go to, and there have been rivalries like that over the years. It'll be super fun once the Kraken, start being competitive. I don't know if that'll be immediately this year. They've looked all right so far, but it's just preseason. So, but it'd be nice if they, are neck and neck with the Canucks, and there'll be a lot of games where a lot of Canucks fans will be down there. A lot of Seattle fans will be up here. It'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, it's going to be, you know what? It's a long time coming. It's a long time coming. It's going to be awesome just to have this rivalry grow as it will over the next course of a couple of years and stuff. And and I love the name of that team, of the Seattle Kraken. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, that was a great name. I was glad they named that as well. Huge news in social media today. Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp all went offline and were unable to work for anybody in the world for hours and hours and hours today. It was just a chaotic mess, and nobody really knows quite why yet. But for all three of those social media platforms to go offline, a lot of social influencers must have just been dying. It's pretty wild when that just suddenly is no longer and you can't get access to it.
And it's weird, right? Because we're so used to actually having the ability to go onto these apps and do our social media from day to day. Then once it's taken away from us, it's almost like our phone is missing. What do I do? What am I going to do? Yes.
Yeah, so crazy. Yeah, it was I don't know, for all those millennials and young people that just, check their Facebook, check their Instagram all the time. I don't know what they would have done today. It would have been just quite chaotic in their lives. And hopefully they've been able to figure it out and it won't be offline again. But that was big news today, the big power outage there. I want to talk about the NFL to start with tonight. The big Monday nighter tonight, a big AFC West battle between the undefeated Raiders, the only undefeated team left in the AFC, against the Chargers. But the Chargers have laid a spanking on them in the first half, up 21-0, and really dominating this game. I think this is surprising a lot of people.
Yeah, well, it's surprising me. That's for sure. I was not expecting the Chargers to be as dominant and shut down the Raiders' offense to literally nothing so far in this game. So hopefully John Gruden can work some magic to get his team back into it.
Yeah. Yeah, Derek Carr, 7 for 13 for 52 yards in that first half. Josh Jacobs only had 19 yards on 8 carries. The top receiver had 21 yards on 1 catch, Darren Waller, usually Carr's favorite receiver. I don't know how the Chargers did it, but Justin Herbert already having a phenomenal game, 20 and 25, 175 yards and 3 touchdowns. Eckler, 8 carries for 59 yards. Jared Cook has a TD, Austin Eckler, and Donald Parham. All teams will be 3-1 if the Chargers do win this game in the AFC West, except for the Kansas City Chiefs. Will still be at the bottom at 2-2. Pretty wild that the Chiefs, even though they had another big win, they'll still be last in the division after week 4.
Yeah, nobody would ever have saw that coming. To have guessed that the Chiefs would be at the bottom of their division. No. I don't think anybody placed that bet. That's for sure.
No. Yeah. So Raiders will look phenomenal this year so far, just absolutely phenomenal. 3 wins in a row, outscoring teams quite handily and looking great. Broncos took their first loss this weekend. But 3-1. All 3 teams are looking like, and then the Chiefs at 2-2. So it's always great to start in the NFC with that big division with the Seahawks and Cards and all that kind of stuff. But the biggest game of the weekend, all the hype that was given to Tom Brady's return to New England and to face the Patriots, a bit of a dead game. I think, the rain had a lot of effect. There's been a lot of injuries on both sides, but Tom Brady was able to go into New England and beat the Patriots in a bit of a snoozer game, but it was close. Came down to missed field goal at the end. And what'd you think about the Sunday nighter?
Yeah, it was a bit of a snoozer. It was like one of those grind out wins that you got to do every once in a while for an NFL team. And Brady can do those games. He's done many of them before, and he'll do many more again. 22 of 43 for 269 yards. Fournette actually had a pretty good game too as well, 20 carries for 91 yards. And you know what? The Bucs did just enough to beat the Patriots. Although the Patriots did have a good showing. They really did. They almost won the game. Yeah. But unfortunately, their kicker missed the 56-yarder. So.
Yeah, that was a shock, but it was far. They seemed to kick it a little soon, and it looked like they could have got him a little closer. It was sort of surprise. Usually Belichick doesn't make those type of mistakes, but he sure seemed to be able to put the right defensive schemes on there to really confuse Tom and his offensive package, because Brady was just sort of average for sure in this game.
Yeah, he was average, but the one thing about Brady is he also didn't make any mistakes.
Right.
He didn't turn over the ball, so he did enough to make sure that he didn't cost his team a loss.
Yeah.
In this particular game.
He actually got booed when he walked onto the field at the start of the game, which really surprised me. When he came out a little bit before the game, they were cheering him on and stuff. But when he came out for that first offensive drive, there was boos in the crowd, and I wasn't expecting that at all.
Surprising, I guess it's NFL fans are fickle because they're just like, well, what have you done for me lately? Well, nothing, because you're not on my team. You're dead to me. So. But unfortunately, they booed him. I was a little bit surprised because, he did bring the franchise, 6 Super Bowls.
6 Super Bowls, yeah, no kidding. I was amazed to hear that Tom Brady's jersey sales are the number 1 jersey sold in North America out of any sport. Tom Brady's jersey is number 1. Guess who's number 2?
Oh, man. Can I go with any sport? Can I guess any sport?
It's football. It's football.
Rodgers. Is it Aaron Rodgers?
No. Good guess, but no.
No.
It's the QB that he faced last night.
What, Mac Jones?
Number 2.
Oh,
in jersey sales this year. Mac Jones, amazing. Hey? That's how much fans that the Patriots have across North America because of their, continued success. There's a lot of bandwagon jumpers, a lot of people that just like the Patriots because they were winners all the time. But Mac Jones already number 2 in jersey sales. That was really surprising.
I would never have thought that. I would never have thought that. He's an unknown quantity thus far, far in his fledgling NFL career. But well, I guess good for him.
Yeah.
Great news for Mac Jones.
Yeah, pretty cool. The other big thing that happened last night was Tom Brady became the all-time passing leader, passing Drew Brees. It was kind of wild to see Drew on the sideline working for NBC. He threw it. They tied when Antonio Brown got a catch, and then he was able to throw another pass to AB and get the record. But there really wasn't any stoppage in play. There wasn't, a ceremony. I remember when Drew Brees got that record, his family came down. They were hugging and high-fiving and showing cool things on the highlight video, but no, they weren't doing that in New England. They're like, nope, sorry, buddy, you're gone. We don't care. We're not honoring it at all.
Yeah. Well, again, that's the Patriots fans. Once you leave our team, you are dead to us. You are dead to us. So no fanfare there. But again, Brady with yet another record to add to his long list of records.
Yeah. I couldn't believe how many records the guy had. Oh my God. I actually took a picture, picture of the screen last night, and it just kept rolling records, just rolling them down the screen. I had to take 3 pictures. When I saw that, I was like, what the heck is going on here? I'll pull it up in a sec. Richard Sherman made his season debut with the Bucs, and he led them with 7 tackles. How did you think his performance was after missing all the season so far?
Not bad. I stepped in, did what he needed to do. I think he's going to actually be able to help the defense for sure. No. All he has to do is behave himself.
Yeah.
And stay out of trouble. The only thing he should be worried about right now is just trying to play football. And that's about it. If he can do that, I think he's going to be great.
He said he's had some mental health issues that led to his legal troubles recently. He's addressing them and trying his best to try to keep out of trouble. And I don't know what's going to happen with the court case. I don't know what's going to happen with the NFL, because usually if a guy gets in trouble in any legal way, there can be suspensions, and there's a personal conduct policy that the NFL brings in place. And so, this could be short-lived for him. He could be there only for a little while, but they lost 3 cornerbacks that started the year there. And so he's desperately needed to come in and bring that veteran presence. Hopefully he can learn the defense really well, and he's there. Sometimes when I see tackles for a cornerback, I think maybe that's not the greatest stat, because the guy that he's covering keeps getting the ball, and then he has to bring him down. So I'm not sure if he had a great game or not. 7 tackles for a cornerback sometimes isn't the best stat.
Sometimes, but if the man that he's covering is only getting short yardage gains, then it's not that bad. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, and also too, like, hey, just look at the score. He clearly wasn't getting burned or torched, so that's not bad.
That's true. Yeah. Okay, Tom Brady's records. The Patriots records, 74,571 passing yards. He leads Drew Bledsoe by about 50,000 yards there. 541 touchdowns. Steve Grogan was second with 182. 285 games he played with the Patriots. Second place is Bruce Armstrong with 212. 41 playoff games. Their kicker, Steven Gostkowski, was second with 28. 9 Super Bowl appearances. Gostkowski had 6. Super Bowl wins, 6. Multiple players had 3, but he has double that. 4 MVPs, and a couple other guys got 1, Edelman and Branch. 14 Pro Bowls. 9 is the other guys in second place there. 11,388 playoff passing yards. Bledsoe has 1,035 and 73 playoff passing touchdowns. Second place, 7, Tony Eason. So like, come on. Like, you remember we were talking about the official NFL record book is his. Well, the Patriots one is just hilarious. Like, they should just, not even put anybody else in the book, because it's just insane how far ahead he is of everybody else.
Because it's why bother? Why even bother mentioning who second place is? Because he's just so far beyond and ahead of everybody. There's just no point in even mentioning anybody else.
I mentioned some things, I think it was last week, where about him throwing TD pass, or having passing records after 40 and stuff. And they had a guy came on and he was just showing that stat. Do you remember seeing that at the beginning of the game? The guy was just showing how many guys he's just blown away after 40 years old.
Yeah, I did. And it doesn't actually really make any sense. It doesn't make any sense, like, at all.
There's only been 5 quarterbacks to throw a pass at age 44 or older. Tom Brady has thrown 10 touchdowns, 1,087 yards since he's been 44. Second place is Vinny Testaverde, 511 yards, 4 touchdowns, 5 picks. George Blanda, who played till he was 48, and they're like, oh, he could make that 2025. November. He could pass George Blanda. George Blanda had 494 yards, 6 touchdowns, 7 picks. Not very good. And then we got Steve DeBerg, 369 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. And Warren Moon looks like he just played maybe a game, 130 yards, 1 interception, 0 touchdowns. So, he's just absolutely, pushing those records and getting up there and just showing that age doesn't really affect him. And he's become one of 4 quarterbacks of all time to beat all 32 teams, joining Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, and Brett Favre as the 4 guys doing that. So, I guess enough superlatives, enough things said about him. Bucs win another one, and Jones played well. He had 19 straight completions at one point, and if they just didn't miss that field goal, maybe they get the big win. I think Jones is actually being the best rookie quarterback so far in this 2021 class.
I would agree with that. He seems to be the one that has played the best thus far out of all the rookie quarterbacks. And and then unfortunately for Zach Wilson, he plays on the Jets. Yeah, and that's it. That's all there is to say about that. That is it.
Yeah. The other big game of the weekend had Big Ben Roethlisberger facing Aaron Rodgers, Packers, and the Steelers. Both guys passed Dan Marino for some prolific records. Ben passed Dan Marino for 6th all-time in passing yards, and Aaron Rodgers passed him with touchdown passes. Their last head-to-head meeting was Super Bowl 35 in 2010. Super Bowl 45 in 2010. I can't believe it's been like 11 years since those 2 guys last faced each other.
Yeah, that's weird how it's been that long for those 2 to finally play each other again. And obviously it's due to the scheduling, but kind of weird, kind of odd.
Yeah, yeah, so strange. The next time they'll be meeting will be in Canton, Ohio, Hall of Fame. Both those guys have had amazing careers, going up into the top 5, top 10 of all time. And but yeah, when I saw that they hadn't met since then, I remember that Super Bowl really, really well. My friend Vess's birthday that day. We watched it at the Vogue Theater on the big screen inside the Vogue Theater, and a huge party. Friend of ours owns that place, and we had a really, really good time. And yeah, it was Aaron Rodgers getting his Super Bowl victory and getting the MVP and beating the Steelers. It was a really, really, yeah, very, very prolific game.
Yeah, no, I know Rodgers played very well in that game. And yeah, definitely deserving of the win there for the Super Bowl win. And just like Rodgers was very deserving of the win against the Steelers yesterday. Packers were able to convert 9 of 15 third downs, and Rodgers went 20 of 36 for 248 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had a solid game.
Yeah, no, he sure did. Yeah. He's got some good weapons. I was surprised that Randall Cobb was so prolific in this game, 2 touchdowns. He's sort of faded off into the sunset for the last couple seasons, but he was a favorite target of Aaron yesterday.
Yeah, it's good to see him reemerge. Kind of forgot about him, because he was kind of a big deal for a couple years there, and then all of a sudden he just kind of disappeared into the ether. But I'm glad to see that he's coming back. And then also too, the Packers run game was solid run game yesterday. Dillon 15 carries of 81 yards, and Jones 18 carries for 99 yards.
Yeah, and Jones had 3 catches for 51 too. So I know Aaron Rodgers just loves Aaron Jones and wants to utilize him like crazy. And yeah, that offense is clicking. They lost that first game of the year, have bounced back and played really great and looking super solid. As I said, we usually like talking about the NFC West to start with. And so why don't we dive into that NFC West division? Seahawks had a big win over the 49ers, 28-21. Russell Wilson got his 100th career win and improved the Hawks to 2-2 now on the year. Really slow moving first half, kind of boring, not really a lot going on, but Seahawks finally put some points in the board in the third quarter for the first time this season. They got a couple touchdowns, and Russell had a good game, not as prolific as usual, but he was able to get a couple touchdowns through the air, 1 on the ground, and DK Metcalf had another touchdown. Chris Carson was quiet. I'm not sure why, didn't have a lot of yardage there. And Tyler Lockett was coming in injured. They weren't sure how well he would do. He had a really quiet game too, but big victory, interdivisional game. They needed that win over the Niners.
Yeah, they needed that win, and their defense actually did enough to get that win, cement that win. Held the 49ers to 2 of 14 on third down conversions, which was huge for the defense right there. But Garoppolo wasn't bad. It wasn't bad, 14-23, 165 yards, TD, and a pick. But unfortunately, he left the game with a calf injury.
Yeah.
So, I'm just it's worrying. Hopefully, he's able to come back for the next game. But you never know with these calf injuries.
Yeah. Well, he missed the second half. The rookie Trey Lance came in and played pretty well. 9 of 18, 157 yards and a couple couple touchdowns, and also 41 yards on the ground with 7 rushes. So, I like Trey Lance. I feel like once he gets a little more experience, I think, he's going to be a good quarterback.
Yeah, I believe so too. He's just going to have to slowly gain that experience as he works his way through the league.
Yeah. Deebo Samuel was massive again, man. That guy's good. 8 for 156 and a couple touchdowns. Like, man, are they happy they got him? He is an incredible receiver.
Yeah, he's an incredible weapon that the 49ers are utilizing very, very well.
Yeah. So both teams sit at 2-2 now, the Hawks and the Niners. Seahawks host the Rams on Thursday Night Football this week. And the 49ers have to face the unbeaten Cardinals in the late Sunday window. So 49ers are in a little bit tougher. I'm looking forward to that Thursday game between the Rams and the Hawks. That'll be fun.
Oh no, that's going to be a very good Thursday night game. But then again, surprisingly enough, every Thursday night game has actually been really good thus far. So hopefully that streak continues.
Okay, the other big matchup in the NFC West was the Cardinals and the Rams. It was the second divisional matchup between undefeated teams in the last 15 years. So not often this will happen. But the Cards just remain unbeaten, top of the conference, 4-0. Really just ran roughshod over the Rams. Amazing. They were 3-0 on the road. Really had a amazing running attack, and I don't know. I think the Cardinals have finally put things together, and they're going to be tough to beat.
Yeah, they're for real, and it's interesting to me because Kyler Murray, now that he's healthy, you see exactly what he's capable of doing. Yeah. Last year, when he injured his shoulder, there was definitely a difference to their offense. Yeah. And now that he's whole and ready to go, 24-32, 268 yards, 2 touchdowns. At times, that man looks like a video game out there. Yeah. It's amazing how he can escape the pass rush, how elusive he is out there on the field. He's just awesome to watch. It's so exciting to watch.
Yeah, I don't think he would have even been in the league if it wasn't for Russell Wilson. But at this point, he looks like he might, be even better than Russell Wilson. If he can stay injury free and he can keep up this, he's so tough to bring down. He's so fast, and he has a great arm too. Everything about him I like. As I mentioned, their running attack was great. Chase Edmonds had 12 carries for 120 yards, 10 yards a carry. Like, if you get in the first down every single time you touch the ball off a run, why would you stop running? That's amazing.
No, that's literally amazing. And then Connor too, 18 carries, 50 yards, and he had 2 touchdowns. He had 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. So their running attack just ate up the Rams. AJ Green, he's went there, rejuvenated himself, looking great. 5 catches, 67 yards, and a touchdown. Max Williams had the other touchdown, and Cardinals are 4-0, looking really, really good. And as I said, they host the 49ers Sunday. Stafford, it was okay, but just doesn't have the weapons. Cooper Kupp has had a phenomenal year, but was kind of held in check. 5 catches, 64 yards. It seems like the Cards just had too great of a running attack to be defeated by the Rams.
Yeah, their running attack was on point for sure for that particular game, and Stafford was slightly off. I found he was missing some throws. He missed some open receivers here and there. But then again, they would, at the end of the day, the Cardinals were just better. They were a better team, and they played better, and they won that game 37-20, and they won it convincingly.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Okay, let's switch to the NFC South. We did talk a little bit of the Bucs off the top, but let's talk about the Panthers. They went into Dallas undefeated. Their top-ranked defense just looked incredible those first 3 weeks, but didn't look very good in this one. Dallas, maybe they're for real. They just stomped on them early. Carolina had a bit of a comeback late, but wasn't able to come back. 36-28 win. Prescott 4 TD passes on just 14 completions. Zeke had a great game again. They looked phenomenal. The Cowboys looked really good against the best defense in the league going into this game.
Yeah, best defense going into the league in this game, and the Cowboys torched them. And then the Cowboys defense really stepped up.
Yeah.
They had Sam Darnold running for his life for most of that game, for his life. And the Cowboys recorded 5 sacks against him. Yeah, man. It was a very, very impressive win by the Cowboys. And Diggs with 2 picks, 2 interceptions himself.
Yeah, Stephon Diggs' brother, he set a record for picks in the first 4 games of a season. He's actually got 5 picks in the first 4 games. So incredible acquisition for the Cowboys. And yeah, he's helping them get these big wins. Amazing. Diggs is catching them in Buffalo, and he's catching them in Dallas. Pretty cool. Both guys got good hands.
Both guys got great hands, and Jerry Jones, I think, may need to give himself a little pat on the back for actually listening to somebody other than himself and bolstering that defense, because now it's paying dividends.
Loved seeing Chuba Hubbard in there. The Canadian had 13 carries for 57 yards, 4.4 yards average. Was really I've been very, very impressed with him, and with Christian McCaffrey out, it's great to see him be able to come in and get some carries and show what he's got.
Yeah, it's good to know that the Panthers actually have somebody else that's reliable in the backfield that they can hand off the ball to, other than just McCaffrey, because McCaffrey's now dealing with that hamstring injury at the moment.
Chuba was born in the same city you were born in, so yeah, you should definitely follow him. And yeah, the Edmontonian, you said there was quite the Jamaican community there, and you know, great to see a running back come out of Canada and do well. We haven't seen that in very, very many years.
No, not for a long time. But then again, we haven't seen this kind of Canadian talent come into the NFL for a long time. We actually have a number of skilled players in the NFL right now, and it's great to see. It is great to see. It's encouraging too, as well, to know that we're beginning to measure up to our American counterparts.
Yeah. The Raiders have put points on the board. It's 21-7. And they're marching in for another touchdown. They got the ball down inside the 5, it looks like. Derek Carr's got all his weapons on the field. 3rd and goal. We're getting here about the 3.5-yard line, and trying to cut the lead. Yeah,
and
touchdown to Darren Waller. Yeah, TV, Darren Waller. So super impressive catch there, and now it's 21-14, but brand new ball game.
Yeah. You know what? I just remembered something. I actually have money on this game. Okay. I have a friendly bet with my coworker. I took the Chargers. He took the Raiders. I was very confident. Maybe not so much now.
They're coming back. Yeah, it looked pretty bleak for the Raiders in that first half, but yeah, put 2 touchdowns on the board already. Look out, late 3rd quarter. So we'll keep our eye on that. Cowboys host the Giants next Sunday, and the Panthers host the Eagles. So we'll see how they fare going forward. Continuing with the NFC South, New Orleans, they had a very heartbreaking loss in overtime to the New York Giants. Touchdown run by Saquon Barkley in overtime propelled the Giants to their first victory. The Giants were down 21-10 with just 7:14 left in the 4th quarter, and somehow lost that one. Really heartbreaking, especially because that was the first home game that New Orleans actually had in New Orleans, because of the hurricane had pushed them out and made them homeless for a bit. Kind of sad that they weren't able to celebrate a victory that looked pretty certain there. And somehow the Giants pulled it out for that first win. Yeah, both New York teams actually won this week, both in overtime. Crazy that they finally got the monkey off their back, both in OT. Yeah,
which is, I never would have thought that was going to be a thing. I just never would have thought that both New York teams would win on the same day, let alone. So, but hey, they all credit to the Giants. They scored on their final 3 possessions of the game, and Daniel Jones had a massive game. Man.
Massive.
He had a huge game. 28 of 40, 402 yards, 2 TDs and an interception. Yeah, man, he was the reason why they won that game.
Yeah, I think it was best game of his career. Played phenomenal. Great to see Saquon Barkley back. He's been injured quite a bit. He got a touchdown on 13 carries. And Daniel Jones was also running the ball well there. Golladay had a phenomenal game, 6 catches for 116 yards. Ross had a TD. Saquon also had 5 catches for 74 yards and a touchdown. Wow. They looked prolific, and they were just like not giving up. They really went at them late, but yeah, it was quite shocking. I kind of just counted it out when I saw the score late, but the Giants showed some heart.
Yeah, they showed some heart, even with Kamara actually having a great game. 26 carries for 120 yards, but even with that, it was still not enough to overcome the G-Men.
Taysom Hill had a big game, got a couple touchdowns there for him. They bring him in quite a bit to do those runs when they're down in the red zone, and he got a couple TDs, but no go. Giants go to Dallas for the late window game on Sunday, and the Saints go to Washington early Sunday. They play. So, okay, the last team we'll talk about in the NFC South is the Falcons. They fell 34-30 to Washington. Taylor Heineke was phenomenal. 23 for 33, 290 yards and 3 touchdowns and 43 yards on the ground there. Terry McLaurin was his favorite target. 6 catches, 123 yards and a couple TDs. McKissick had a TD. Gibson had a TD on the ground. Matt Ryan threw 4 TD passes and seemed to be great. Cordell Patterson was phenomenal, had a really, really amazing game, but Washington was able to outscore the Falcons and get a big victory.
Yeah, and the Falcons, unfortunately, I'm just going to say it, true to form, again, collapsed down the stretch. Surrendered 12 points over the final 4 minutes, and that was their death knell. That was what cost them the game again.
Tough. Yeah, it's becoming a pattern for them. I don't know what's happened to their defense, but they just can't seem to outscore their troubles on D.
No, they cannot. It's almost like the defense just goes, you know what? That was good 3 quarters. I think we're good.
I hope they don't, but yeah. Atlanta falls to 1-3, last in our division. Washington now sits 2-2 after 4 games, just 1 game back of Dallas, but firmly in second place in the East. And as I said, Washington hosts the Saints. The Falcons are considered the home team in London. They have a game in London, England, against the Jets, 6:30 a.m. Pacific, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time next Sunday in London. Yeah,
that's I like the fact that the NFL just travels out there to these other countries and plays games to expose the game to other people globally around the world. It's good. It builds the brand, and also it's good for the players just to go outside of their comfort zone, so to speak, go to a different country. It's good.
Yeah, it's great. No, I think it's awesome. I want them to do it more. I think it's great, except a couple games in Mexico. Obviously, we had those Bills games in Toronto, but we need more, NFL games here. It would be great to see them come here to this coast. Many other places, it would be phenomenal for, NFL fans north of the border to get some of the games.
Or better idea, we just get an NFL team north of the border. Ooh, that would be good.
Yeah. That would be amazing. I don't see it happening right away, but that would be amazing. Keep your fingers crossed. Okay, NFC East completely covered except for the Eagles. As I mentioned, Cowboys 3-1, Washington 2-2, Giants 1-3, And now, unfortunately, the Eagles fall to 1-3 after losing 42-30 to KC. Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill, like monster games. Mahomes 5 TD passes, 3 to Hill. He was just, holy cow, like it's almost impossible to cover Tyreek Hill these days. He just finds a place, stands there, gets the ball and runs it in. The guy is just amazing.
He's I think they called him the cheetah for a reason. He is so freaking fast. 11 receptions for 186 yards and 3 touchdowns. Like you do need to focus on him. You need to literally scheme to take that guy away, or he does that.
Yeah. Unreal, just unreal. Yeah. They had a great rushing attack with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 102 yards on the ground. He had a touchdown through the air. Darrell Williams had a touchdown on the ground. Joe Fortson had the other TD. Jalen Hurts was phenomenal, really good. 387 yards through the air, and 47 on the ground. But just not enough weapons to beat those Chiefs. And those Chiefs are sitting at the bottom of that division, but not for long.
No. They're the boogeymen that are just lurking in the dark. They're just waiting. They scored 6 touchdowns on 7 possessions.
Jesus. Wow. Yeah, that's crazy.
Explosive offense.
I think the game of next Sunday, game of the weekend, is going to be Chiefs hosting the Bills. Really titanic NFC matchup. Or NFC AFC crossover, I guess. It's the Sunday nighter game. So all of America, all of Canada, all of the world being able to watch those two teams play. I can't wait for that game.
It's going to be a great game. It's you got basically 2 Titans going at each other. It's going to be great. Fantastic game.
Okay, so we've covered 3 divisions in the NFC. Just one to go. We mentioned the Packers and the Steelers. Big 27-17 win by the Packers. Anything else that we didn't get to when we talked about them right off the top?
No, actually we pretty much covered that. Roethlisberger 26 of 40 for 232 yards, touchdown and interception. I don't know though. Every time I see Roethlisberger, it just seems like he doesn't seem like himself.
Yeah.
Like, it just seems like he's lost some steam off, like when he throws the football or something. Something just seems not quite right anymore.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, it's true. He looked good first game of the year, and then seems like just doesn't have it right now. And maybe it's a blip, maybe it's age. I guess we'll see. But it's crazy because usually Steelers, you can pretty much count them to be top of their division, making the playoffs. I don't think they've had a losing season under Mike Tomlin since he's been there. So much stability with that franchise, and usually they're great, but they just haven't had that succession plan that they should have.
Yeah, and because you have to have that. You have to be willing and ready to groom the next person to take over, and they clearly do not have that in place right now.
Steelers host the Broncos, and the Packers go to Cincy to play the Bengals on Sunday. So, Chicago sits at 2-2. They really had a much better showing than last week. I was just disgusted with their performance last week and their play calling, but they were able to be pretty prolific against the winless Lions. But at least they got off the schneid and looked really quite good. And Justin Fields wasn't running for his life the whole entire time. Had a pretty good game. What'd you think of this one?
I thought that the Lions kind of shot themselves more in the foot than anything else. The first half Lions were inside the Chicago's 8-yard line 3 separate times, 3 separate drives, and they came away with no points.
Holy cow.
0 points.
Wow.
You do that in an NFL game, you are not going to be winning NFL games.
That's crazy. Wow. Yeah, that's that's a telling stat that you got there, man. Wow, if you're gonna do that, yeah, you're not gonna win much. And yeah, I see I watch Jalen Rose on TV most days, and he's a diehard Lions fan, and almost every week he just puts his head down on Monday and just shaking it and just shaking it constantly, just looking like he is just so incredibly sad at their another terrible Lions loss. I didn't see him today, but I'm sure he was doing that again.
How could he not? How could he not? How could he not shake his head at this? It's just, yeah, it's sad. It's sad that the Lions are they just have this ineptitude to them right now at this point in time. They just can't seem to get past it.
Yeah. And that trade, it's been crazy. Goff, you thought for the first few years there, Goff was going to be pretty good. He took the Rams to the Super Bowl, but man, he cannot win there. That trade has really, really, really worked out well for Detroit. I mean, not for Detroit, for the Rams. And yeah, it's he played okay, but yeah, 0-4, a really rough way to start your career in Detroit.
Yeah, it is a very rough way to start your career, and the future still doesn't look very good either. Sorry, Jared.
Yeah. Okay, so next Sunday, Chicago goes to Vegas, plays the Raiders, who play on tonight, and the Lions go to Minnesota to play the Vikings. The Vikings fell to 1-3 with a horrible offensive performance for them. Very lousy, pretty brutal game. Cleveland beat them 14-7. Cleveland grounded out a win to go to 3-1. They've got those two backs that just seem to just pound the rock and get the yardage. Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt both had great games, and Baker Mayfield wasn't utilized very much, but he didn't really need to when they have that kind of running attack.
Yeah. He basically, all he had to do was not turn over the ball, which he did not. But at the same time, he was high with a lot of throws. He missed a lot of throws. But you know what? His defense bailed him out, kept the Vikes to literally 7 points. So kept them off the scoreboard. And then Chubb with 21 carries, 100 yards. Kareem Hunt, 14 carries, 69 yards, 1 touchdown. The Browns' running attack is no joke. Those two guys are consistent and prolific at the same time.
Amazing, yeah. Speaking of running attack, the Vikings really had none. 23 rushing attempts for a total of 65 yards. I don't know what happened to Dalvin Cook. He's usually just amazing. Maybe he's still recovering from his injury. Only had 34 yards on the ground. Madison, who had an amazing week last week, only had 20 yards on the ground. Thielen was held in check with only 46 yards through the air. Cousins just 200 yards, only a touchdown and a pick. Yeah, it was crazy to see Vikings. They're a pretty prolific offensive team, but to get 7 points and lose like that, Cleveland's defense played incredible.
Yeah, Cleveland's defense really shut them down. I think the defense kept the Vikings running attack 2.8 yards per carry.
Wow.
That's nothing.
That's zip. Yeah, you're not going to be able to win games like that. Browns go to LA to face the Chargers on the late window on Sunday, and the Vikings host the Lions early Sunday. Okay, so let's go. Yeah, let's talk about the AFC West. As we said earlier, the Raiders and Chargers are playing against each other. Big AFC West matchup. Still 21-14. About 13 minutes left in the fourth quarter. The Raiders will host the Bears next Sunday, and the Chargers host the Browns. So in the Broncos game against Baltimore, there was a bit of controversy. Did you hear about the stuff between the coaches, John Harbaugh and Nick Fangio? Did you hear that controversy?
No, I did not. What happened?
So Baltimore was up 23-7. They get an interception with 3 seconds left. And typically the offense is just kind of come out in the field. They're going to kneel and they're going to take the win. They called a running play to Lamar Jackson and he ran around and got 5 yards. And Fangio was just so mad. He was just incredibly pissed. He started swearing, started flipping out. He said, typical Harbaugh bullshit. And he was really, really mad. And then Harbaugh was called on it. And he said, you know what? My bad. It was my call. And I did it so we could continue our 100-yard rushing streak that had reached, I think, 43 games. 43 games. Baltimore has had 100 yards rushing, and they tied the Pittsburgh Steelers from the 70s record, 74-77. They had 43 games in a row with 100 yards, and they were sitting at 97 yards when that happened. And he said, no, I thought that was an important record for us to keep going at. Wasn't that big of a deal. Lamar just ran, slid down. We got the record. Continuing on. I don't think that, big of a controversy, but man, Fangio was having none of it. He was angry.
Oh, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. It's almost like there's an unspoken rule. Just take a knee, we're done. Like you guys won, great. But if you're gonna rub it in our face like that, yeah, the other coach is going to be rightfully pretty pissed. And he was.
He was really mad. It was crazy. Yeah, I love seeing the dueling press conferences. It was pretty hilarious. Broncos, that was their first loss. They had been playing great out of the gate, 3-0. Just Baltimore's defense just shut them down. Noah Fant had the only TD for them. Melvin Gordon was held in check. Bridgewater got hurt. He got a concussion and he was out second half. Drew Lock came in and played not bad, but just unable to put points on the board. And Hollywood Brown, holy cow, some of the catches he made. He had one phenomenal one in the end zone where he just dove straight out like Superman, caught the ball. Lamar Jackson is lucky. He has him. In fact, this was the lowest amount of yardage that the Ravens have had on the ground since Lamar's been there. That was the lowest amount of yards they've ever had. So he comes in there and they go on this streak. I don't know if he's been there for the whole 43. I don't know if it's been that long, but they go next week. They host the Colts on the Monday nighter, and they're trying to break that record, get 44 games in a row with at least 100 yards rushing.
Well, hopefully they can break that record without having to do it with the last couple seconds left at the end of the game.
Piss off every coach around. Right?
That's just going to be a thing going on. It's like, you know what? We're running the ball. Whatever.
That would be so hilarious if it comes down to the end there.
Yeah.
3 seconds left. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, 3 seconds left. You're like, okay, game's over. But no, we're still running the ball. It would have been crazy if Lamar just broke it and scored a touchdown. Like, oh man, I think Fangio would have just had an absolute massive meltdown.
Oh, you would have lost it. You would have absolutely lost it. Would have been awesome.
Yeah, it would have been awesome. Yeah. As I said a little earlier, the Broncos go to Pittsburgh next Sunday. AFC North also is very strong this year so far. The Browns, Ravens, and the Bengals all sit at 3-1. Pittsburgh's last at 1-3. Since he beat the Jags on Thursday in a really tight game, it came down to a missed field goal at the end. It's certainly not a missed field goal, but a made field goal right at the end by the Bengals. Burrow was just a little bit better than Trevor Lawrence, and CJ Uzuma had a really big game with 2 touchdowns for them. He's got a lot of weapons though. Joe Burrow, Tyler Boyd, Jamar Chase, Joe Mixon. more than Trevor Lawrence has with the Jags for sure.
Oh yeah, he's got way more than Trevor Lawrence has for sure. And I'm just more impressed with the fact that Burrow 25 for 32, 348 yards, 2 touchdowns. But he looks great. Like off that surgically repaired knee that got torn up, like literally destroyed, turned into spaghetti. He looks fantastic coming back.
Amazing, yeah. So great. I'm so glad when guys can bounce back from horrific, tough injuries like that and look good. James Robinson had a big game for the Jags, had a couple TDs. Some of these guys' names are very challenging sometimes. Their top receiver for the Jags is Laviska Shenault, 6 catches, 99 yards. And Dan Arnold made his debut, got a couple catches there. Then the Jags made some headlines that they didn't want to make this weekend. I guess after Thursday night's game in Ohio, Urban Meyer went to the bar, and some videos were leaked of him really grinding somebody on the dance floor that wasn't his wife. And he had a press conference that he apologized to his family, to the team, to the fans, to everybody that would listen. And he was really saying how stupid he was. And he apologized. But I watched the video. Oh man, it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad.
You just want to have some fun. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Have you seen the video of the press conference?
No, but I could imagine just how embarrassed he would have been having to explain this. That's the thing with these athletes or anybody in the public eye. They got to be aware at all times. So it's almost like you're just better off always having functions at your house. Just don't ever go out.
Yeah. Ever. Well, he wasn't at his house. He was he was in Cincy, so he decided he'd go out, and I don't know. I think he's made a big mistake. We'll see some more things, but hey, let's check out the video. I'm just kidding. Let's smear the guy all over here. Let's show him grinding up on that girl. Worst moment of his life, and it gets thrown out over social media. Oh man, I felt a little bad for the guy, but yeah, I mean, geez, I think he got a little too liquored up there.
Yeah, well, you gotta know that somebody has a phone, and somebody's recording you. And it's super easy.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, wow. Jags host the Titans next Sunday. Cincy hosts the Packers, which will be really, really tough. Buffalo, as we mentioned earlier, they're playing Chiefs next weekend. They absolutely destroyed Houston 40-0. 5 takeaways. 2 games ahead of everybody else in the division now. I think you can pretty much crown them the division champions. They are looking amazing. 2 shutouts in the first 4 games. They lead 9 categories on defense. Man, they got a prolific offense, and now their defense is this good. It's scary how good Buffalo can be, and I think they're gonna really, really, really compete with Kansas City for the top of the AFC.
Oh yeah, I think that's obvious now. Like the defense terrorized the Texans. They were helpless. 3 sacks on the quarterback, 3 interceptions by the Bills defense. Allen had a solid game, 20-29, 248 yards, 2 touchdowns. Diggs, his favorite receiver, 7 receptions for 114 yards. Singletary, 14 carries for 79 yards. They had the total package on offense and defense. The Texans were completely helpless. There was nothing that they could do. Like literally, Mills completed more passes to Bills players in the first half than to his own players.
Yeah, you're right. Holy cow. Hey, like 4 picks for Davis Mills. You got to feel sorry for this rookie. Another guy that's thrown into the Lions den and not giving him any help at all, man. Really, really rough game for Mills. They only had 61 passing yards altogether. He had 87 yards through the air, but with the sacks moving him back, they only had 48 rush yards. The yardage was 450 to 109. First downs were 26 to 6. Just go on and on and on through the stats. It was just a complete mismatch, just unreal.
It was like it was like a kind of like an NFL team played a JV team, like a high school team, and just run roughshod all over them, just destroyed them.
Bills the first team to have 2 shutouts in the first 4 games of the season since Baltimore Ravens in 2000. Ravens went on and won the Super Bowl that year, Super Bowl 35. That year, they only allowed 23 points in the 4 playoff games that got them that Super Bowl title. I remember how amazing that defense was, helped them win that championship. And Bills are, starting to be compared to them, for this first 4 games. Anyway, it's pretty impressive. And look out to AFC. If they're this good on both sides of the ball, it's going to be very tough to beat them.
Yeah. Like the rest of the NFL teams are in for a hard night whenever they play the Bills.
Yeah, so that Sunday nighter, can't wait, man. There's been so many good primetime games this year. Texans host the Patriots, so I think they're in for another loss there. As I mentioned, Jets got their first win in overtime. They beat Tennessee. Huge surprise. Tennessee was down Julio Jones and A.J. Brown. So Derrick Henry, look at how many times he rushed. 33 attempts for 157 yards and a couple of catches, 1 touchdown on the ground, but 33 attempts for Henry. They're gonna just wear this guy down to a nub. I know he's massive, but like that's too much. That's way too much.
But they needed him. They needed him because they didn't have their 2 studs for their passing attack to be legitimate.
Yeah.
And so that's why they had to go with their horse. And he almost got him there. And normally any other time that you play the Jets, that's enough. But for whatever reason, maybe it was a full moon, I don't know, but the Jets managed to pull it off.
They pulled it off. Incredible. Yeah, so great. Corey Davis was big. He hurt his former team. He was an ex-Titan. 4 catches for 111 yards and a touchdown. Keelan Cole had 92 yards. Jamison Crowder had a touchdown. And then they had big defensive performance by C.J. Mosley and Quincy Williams. They both had 10 tackles each. And Zach Wilson finally gets that win. Man, does he ever look like a young kid, though? Like, you see him on the sideline, you're thinking, this guy's running an NFL team? Like, he still looks like a young kid.
Yeah, looks like he just got out of high school, grade 12. Pretty sweet. But he had a great game, man. 21 to 34, 297 yards, two TDs. And and then the Jets defense had 7 sacks.
Wow.
7 sacks.
Wow. Yeah. Tannehill was asked to throw it 49 times. He got 30 completions, but didn't have the weapons there, through the air. So a big win for the Jets. As we both said, holy shit. Both New York teams won on the same weekend. That's historic. Probably hasn't happened in a few years there. Wow. Amazing. And as I mentioned earlier, the Jets get to go to London, England, and take on Atlanta early Sunday, and the Titans go to Jacksonville. So should be able to get back on track there. The Dolphins lost. They lost to Indy 27-17, and now they both sit 1-3 on the year. Carson Wentz finally got his first win as a Colt. Had a pretty good game, not too bad. Couple touchdown passes. Jonathan Taylor was big with 16 carries for 103 yards and a touchdown. Mo Alley Cox, his big tight end, had a couple TDs. Jacoby Brissett was just average. didn't quite get 200 yards, couple touchdowns. Devontae Parker and Mike Gesicki both got TDs there, but Indy took the victory. And yeah, that's the last game in the NFL. Colts go to Baltimore for the Monday nighter 1 week from tonight. And the Dolphins play their interstate rival, the good old Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, poor Dolphins have to face the Super Bowl champs.
Yeah, well, it just keeps getting better for the Dolphins, doesn't it?
One last thing I want to mention. Andy Reid. We said he went to the hospital on our last podcast. He came out of the hospital the next day and looked pretty good. He won his 100th game as coach of the Kansas City Chiefs. He also won 100 games as the coach of the Philadelphia Eagles that they played last night. And he's the first coach in NFL history to get 100 wins with 2 separate franchises. Really good to see him out of the hospital and getting that milestone.
Yeah, that's quite the accomplishment to get that many wins with 2 different franchises. Well done.
Yeah. And on the injury front, they think that Jimmy G will not play this coming weekend, as well as Teddy Bridgewater. Jimmy G had the calf injury. Teddy Bridgewater had the concussion. They think he won't clear concussion protocol in time, but I guess it's wait and see time. So, yeah, so that covers the NFL. Fun weekend as always. Great to see the Seahawks win. That Sunday nighter wasn't that great, but at least, they finally got that out of the way. Tom Brady was able to go home, get that out of the way, win against every franchise. That'll be it. He won't. I don't think he'll ever go back there and play again. But yeah, it was sure talked about, sure hyped, a little overhyped, I guess.
Well, yeah, it was going to be like that, right? Because he has such a history with the Patriots, and the fact that he left them and immediately won another Super Bowl. Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be talked about.
Did you see how quick the hug was between him and Belichick?
I did, and for me, I kind of thought, will Belichick even do it? Yeah. Maybe he won't. Maybe he'll just dodge him, or maybe he'll just shake his hand. Yeah. But so he gave him a hug, but you were just like, okay, well, they're not friends anymore.
No, but there sure was a long lineup of guys wanting to hug him. The coaches, trainers, players. He's well loved there. That he helped that franchise become one of the greatest franchises in NFL history. So I would think there'd be a lot of love for him there.
Yeah, some people appreciate that. The hoodie doesn't, but others do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, well, why don't we turn to the UFC? They had another fight card from the Apex in Vegas. This one had 2 Brazilians facing off against each other. I think this is the 7th or 8th time in history. I got a little stat here I'll show in a sec, but yeah, quite the cautious main event, I will say. Both guys seem to be really worried about the other guy's power and length, and were staying at distance for the most part. And Thiago Santos was able to grind out a decision against Johnny Walker. What did you think of this one?
Yeah, cautious is a good way to describe this fight. They kept each other at distance, and you know what? I'm just gonna say it. It felt like more like a spar. Yeah. I'm not. Yeah, like it did. It just felt like more like a spar.
Right.
I know that Walker's now with a new fight camp with Conor McGregor's guy Kavanaugh, and so
Dublin,
yeah. To a certain extent, what I saw from Walker was they kind of neutered his wildness and the creativeness of his strikes. They've kind of tamed him and took it back a little bit. I get why they're doing that, so he could have a more nuanced and mature approach to the fight game. Sure. But to a certain extent, that's actually what makes Johnny Walker. They should let him get off the reins a little bit.
Yeah.
Have both. Have some sort of balance of both so that he can still be him and then still have a measured approach as well. I think you can do that with a fighter because it just, to me, it seemed like that's not the Johnny Walker I'm used to seeing or what the fans want to see. I want to see a little crazy.
Yeah.
I did appreciate the fact that he had that more mature approach, but I do want to see a little bit of the crazy as well. Yeah. And then at the end of the day, I thought Santos had the more effective strikes throughout the course of the 5 rounds. That's why.
Yeah, he did. He just landed some bigger shots. He just had he was able to get a few combinations off. I just thought, he won 3 rounds and 3 rounds to 2. It's just it was just reality. He was, I think, quite worried also. He had lost 3 going in. Was not signed past Saturday night, didn't have a contract going forward. But I always remember you always remarked about that hammer on his chest, and proved very tough to not be intimidated by a guy with a massive Thor hammer on his chest. And he seemed to just be the better fighter on this night for sure.
Yes, his Thor hammer really came into play. He cracked Walker with some shots that I think other fighters would have got knocked out by. True. Walker showed a very resilient chin in that fight, and Santos did enough to win. Like I said, both fighters super cautious for this fight because they realized what's coming back at them, and so he did enough to get his win.
So this actually was the 9th main event that featured 2 Brazilian fighters in it. Thiago Santos has had that before against Glover Teixeira. Then there's Rafael Assunção against Marlon Moraes 2. Nogueira against Verdum 2. Then we go into some pretty awesome ones that we remember big time. Anderson Silva against Vitor Belfort when he knocked him out with the front kick. Lyoto Machida against Shogun 2, phenomenal fight. Another Anderson Silva against Damian Maia. Lyoto Machida against Shogun number 1, and Anderson Silva against Talis Leitis. So only the 9th time in history, which is sort of surprising in a bit of a way because so many prolific Brazilians in the sport, but kind of wild to see and try to remember some of those fights that happened over the history of the UFC. Yeah,
and some of those fights were super memorable. Some of those fights were not very memorable. For instance, the Anderson, if I remember correctly, the Anderson Damian Maia was a snoozer.
Right. Yeah. True. Yeah. So Thiago Santos said he deserves the title shot when Jan Blachowicz and Glover Teixeira fight at the end of the month. They're going to fight for the belt. He said he deserves the next shot. If they don't give him that, he called out Yuri Prochazka, which man, that could be a little more than he wants to chew, but probably a pretty amazing fight to watch.
That would be an amazing fight. But I'm sorry, because of his record, I can't give him the shot at the champ.
Yeah,
he's 1-3. That record doesn't deserve you to get a shot at the champ. It just doesn't. Yeah. But if he beats Prochazka, if they make that fight, he's getting closer.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay. Let's talk about the co-main event. Really good fight while it lasted, but really unfortunate way that it finished. I'm glad they called it a no contest though, after a brutal clashing of heads that was just accidental, put Kevin Holland on roller skates, and eventually led to Kyle Dawkins KOing him, or submitting him, but they called it a no contest because of that brutal clashing of heads.
First off, I all respect the Dan Miragliotta right call on his part. Absolute right call on his part. I love the fact that he reviewed it, he talked to his people outside, and then he's like, no. You can't win the fight like that, because clearly off the replay, Kevin Holland went out.
Right.
He went out after that clash of heads. But he was able to pop back up, but he clearly wasn't the same fighter anymore.
No.
Clearly. He was clearly compromised. You can't win a fight like that. I thought it was excellent refereeing on his part.
Yeah. You're a fan of Kevin Holland. You've always remarked how much you like him. He does a lot of talking. Really early on, he stuffed a takedown and he yelled out, "Hey, is that a lot better, DC?" Did you catch that?
Yeah, I did. I love the fact that he's having fun in there.
Right.
You know, like and he adds another element of entertainment that you just don't get with other guys. And I think that's awesome. It's refreshing. As long as, you know, he fights, which he does, and sometimes he kind of forgets to do that. But in this particular fight, with these two up-and-coming studs, and I do call them studs because I love the way these guys both fight, I am looking forward to the rematch.
Yeah.
Because I believe they both accepted immediate rematch.
Yeah. You could hear him in the cage say, "Hey, we should run this back. Hey, you're in. Are you in?" Yeah. He looked at his cornerman. "Yeah, you want to do this?" Everybody nodded their heads. Everybody said, "Sure." Hopefully the UFC can put it together. You know, when a guy's knocked out like that, you know, they might wait a little bit, but we'll see if they can make it happen soon. Usually when things go to review, it hasn't worked out very well. There was a lot of times where they said, if it goes to review, nothing we can do, fight's over, blah, blah, blah. Luckily, you know, they really got it right. They, you know, took the time. Mergliata was looking at it. They had a lot of the commission guys there. They had other refs, like Herb Dean was giving his opinions and stuff. And it was nice to see them finally get something really, really, really right.
Yeah, because, like, you know, look, it's important. It's these guys' careers. You know, like, a lot of money's on the line. And I love the fact that they collaborated, all of them together, collectively, to help Mergliata get to the right decision, which he absolutely did.
Yeah.
He nailed it.
A viral video started circulating today, and Kevin Holland had a busy weekend. He caught a car thief, held him down till the police arrived. I think it was late Sunday, early Monday. There's video of him doing that. Pretty wild that he had a fight on Saturday and he's willing to the next day put his life on the line and stop a car thief and you know, hold him for the cops. It was pretty crazy video there.
But I feel bad for the car thief. Yeah, because that dude will wreck you.
No kidding. Yeah.
You got no shot, pal.
He must have just been like, okay, yeah, don't hit me, please. Don't hit me. Yeah, it was pretty wild. Some of these guys have they live in some tough neighborhoods and they have to put their lives on the line even outside the cage. So pretty wild video coming out today. Okay, this welterweight fight between Alex Cowboy Oliveira and Nico Price, I think was my most anticipated match on this card. I was really excited to see these guys bang. And it was a fun fight. I really enjoyed it. How about you?
Oh, yeah. Bang away did they ever. It was a slugfest. It was action-packed. I kind of had it that Nico won the first and the third. Yeah. And he definitely won the third because of his superior conditioning, which he mentioned that he trained. He felt very, very good about his conditioning for this fight, which is what he absolutely needed. And unfortunately, Oliveira faded in the third. That was the difference in the fight.
Yeah.
That was the difference in the fight. And it was a great fight, man. But at the same time, Oliveira looked great. I thought his movement was good. I thought his head movement was excellent. I thought his combos were great. But it just seemed that Price was more, he wanted it more. That's what I feel. He felt like he wanted it more and he attacked more aggressively.
Well, to me, it was razor thin. Price won the first round because he had like 3.5 minutes of control, but Oliveira caught that kick of Price in the second round, threw him down, and then got on top of him. He He had to fight off a couple submissions, but he took control and he was better in that second round. That third round was just going down. It was like, holy cow, who's going to win this? And then Price got that very late takedown, and I think that just solidified that victory. Man, it was, the judges must have been like, holy shit, who am I going to call here? I don't know who won this round. Do something. And then when that takedown happened, they all probably just went, oh, thank goodness. Because, that's one thing about judging is tough, because you don't want to get it wrong. And there wasn't much difference between the two guys until that late takedown.
Yeah. And then those are the hardest fights to judge when it's that close and the guys are that close in their skill level. It's super hard for the judges. They don't have an easy job at times. Sometimes it's actually pretty easy, but for this particular fight, that was not easy. Hard fight.
At all. No. Price outstruck Oliveira 14-4 with significant strikes in the first. Oliveira was up 16-12 in significant strikes in the second. Then it got toe-to-toe for a while there, and it was 29-27 significant strikes for Nico Price in that late takedown. And he mentioned that was the reason. And the hybrid moves on with a big win. Called out Nick Diaz, which is kind of fun. Guys are suddenly seeing Nick back in the mix. He might as well get a big fight or a really high-ranked fighter he asked for. Nick. We'll see if Nick can recover from whatever injury that knee was and get back in there. I think Nico Price is far and away better, but we'll see what happens. Great to hear Nick Diaz be on the lips of guys when they're making call-outs.
Yeah, I know it's nostalgic, that's for sure. I don't, but I'm going to be honest. I don't know if he's actually going to step into the octagon again. Yeah, it would be awesome to see, but. From what I saw, his conditioning, we've seen him look better. We've seen him look way better than that. I don't really know if his heart's in it anymore.
Yeah, I hear you. I get what you're saying. Yeah. Okay, let's turn to the middleweight fight between the Canadian Misha Sirkinoff fighting the Polish fighter Krzysztof Jotco. Sirkinoff made his debut at middleweight, moving down from 205 to 185. The guy from Toronto, Ontario has had a great career. He's beat guys like Jimmy Crute, Krylov, Kutalaba, finished his last 10 wins, a lot of submission wins. He tried taking Jotco down so many times, though. I think the final numbers were 5 for 17 on takedowns, and he didn't keep him down on most of those takedowns. So Jotco was able to get that decision victory. A very, very tough guy. And I felt a little bit sad for Sirkinoff because I thought he put on a great effort, but just not enough.
Yeah. And also, too, when I saw Sirkinoff get into the octagon, I don't think he should fight at middleweight. Yeah, to me, he looked too depleted.
Right.
He looked like he just obviously the man's in shape, but it didn't look right to me. It looked like he was, he looked depleted to me. So, and then for me, that's why I wasn't surprised that he wasn't able to complete so many of those takedowns, because that muscle mass that he was missing by getting down to that weight wasn't there. Yeah. So he didn't have the strength to do it anymore. But Jotco looked fantastic. He never overcommitted, had great head movement, and threw great combos throughout the entirety of that fight.
You've seen Sirkinoff fight live twice. I've seen Sirkinoff fight live about 6 or 7 times. Can you tell me where you saw Misha Sirkinoff fight for the first time live?
Seattle?
Good guess, but no.
Vancouver.
Victoria.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Totally forgot about that.
You and I went to Victoria. This goes back to 2010. We went to AFC 3. and we saw him win against Sean Poliak, 57 seconds in the first round, July 17th, 2010. And we went over there. I took you over to the Armageddon Fighting Championships, and that was his third professional fight. And he has fought all over Canada. He's fought in Montreal on 3 occasions. He's fought in Victoria, Aurelia, Sarnia, Yellowknife, London, Ontario, Calgary twice, Saskatoon, Ottawa, Toronto, Winnipeg, Moncton, New Brunswick, and Vancouver. You and I watched him fight and beat Jimmy Crute September of 2019.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, he's fought all over Canada, probably almost every town that has a big arena like that. Pretty incredible career to be, this far into it, 22nd fight. But yeah, I don't know why he decided to try his hand at middleweight, but yeah, he looked depleted to me. I agree.
Yeah, it didn't look right for him. And so maybe he was trying to do a test to see if it would be worth his while to do it, to get down there. I don't think it is. I think he's better served at fighting at light heavyweight, personally.
Yeah, it was a really weird body transformation. I was like, whoa, I just didn't think I could ever see him look that way. It was very strange. He has only one of 2 ever Peruvian necktie submissions in UFC history. One of 2. That's pretty wild.
Yeah. That's a very, very rare and difficult submission to get. And that's a sweep. That's a kind of a nice feather in the cap, so to speak, to have that.
His last 8 fights have all finished in the first round, win or loss. The last time he was in the second round before this fight was 2016. So I wondered about his cardio going into a second round. He had just either lost or won in the first round, and just on and on and on for many years. But I hope he figures it out. Maybe goes back. He's beat a lot of great fighters. He's lost Ryan Spann, Johnny Walker, Glover Teixeira, and Ozdemir. But that's, those are some really high level guys. I don't take much away from losing to those guys.
No, those guys are some of the best in the division. So yeah, those are good losses, if there's such a thing.
Exactly. The opening fight of the main card had Alexander Hernandez fighting a late replacement in Mike Breeden. Mike Money Breeden wasn't money on this night. He took a pretty rough, quick knockout loss. Hernandez looked devastating and so good. It's great that a guy could come in for a late replacement, but it's a little bit bad when he's that overmatched.
Oh, he was completely overmatched in this one. But Hernandez took his time in dismantling his opponent. He had a good balance of confidence and aggression throughout that entire fight. And then once he had Breeden Hearn, he just stepped on the gas and took him out quick.
Yeah, he did, like, so fast. For some reason, he lost the fight that he was supposed to fight. So he made the call out and he said he wants Leonardo back. He said, I trained 8 weeks for you, man. Get in the cage with me. What the hell? And then he said he plans to party his dick off after that huge KO. So he's a pretty funny guy and entertaining. And hopefully he gets his wish and they can make that fight that he was supposed to fight in. Okay. All right. Well, let's talk about the main fight on the prelims. We had Jared Flash Gordon against Joe Salecki. Flash Gordon, Sanford MMA producing another really, really great fighter, and another takedown. Gordon was, I thought, dominating in many ways. He won a split decision, but yeah, I thought he was going to get the call when went to the judges' scorecards.
Yeah, me too. Like, how about this? Salecki certainly won the first round, dominated in the grappling. And then Gordon managed to turn the tide in the second. All of a sudden, Salecki could not take him down. And when he did, he popped back immediately up. And then Gordon took him down and managed to keep him down. And then that was the beginning of where the momentum shift happened, was when Gordon was able to do that against Salecki. And then in the third round, clearly Gordon was the better stand-up fighter.
Oh yeah.
And
man,
clear difference there.
He looked phenomenal in that third round. And yeah, I feel like Salecki might have just gassed a little bit because of all those early takedowns, and wasn't able to get any subs out of it. But holy cow, Gordon looked good in the third round, and entertaining guy. I really enjoy watching him fight. Yeah,
he was. I love the fact that he's in your face. He's not going anywhere. Like you got to beat a guy like that. You got to beat him, or else if you don't beat him, he's gonna just keep coming at you.
Yeah. Okay, we had Shevchenko win last week. We had a second Shevchenko on this card. Her sister fought, just like Kyle Dawkins. His brother Chris won last week. And then, he's in that fight against, he's in the co-main event. This time we had the older sister, Antonina Shevchenko, but she fought this really amazing prospect in Casey O'Neill, who's undefeated, coming in, born in Scotland, raised in Australia, lives in Vegas, and comes in. That was her fifth fight in the past 12 months, 3 straight wins. She's got actually the longest finish streak in the UFC currently in the women's division. Casey O'Neill looked really, really, really good.
Yeah, she did, but it kind of got off to a rocky start. Shevchenko used her length and was kind of picking her apart in the first round. But then O'Neill closed distance and used her superior grappling. And once she got Shevchenko to the ground, she kept her on the ground.
Yeah.
Got full mount, started beating her up. And then that was all she wrote, man.
That was all she wrote. Yeah.
All she wrote.
Yeah, that was impressive. Okay, do you want to talk about any of the other fights on the card? There was a couple knockouts, one in the lightweight division, one in the bantamweight division. Anything stand out for you there?
I just wanted to say for the Smith versus Malarkey fight, Smith is one heck of an athletic specimen, but Malarkey was up to the task of taking Smith out. I was super impressed with Malarkey. I was impressed with his head movement. I was impressed with his hands, especially once he had Smith hurt with that punch to his eyeball. Got the knuckle in the eyeball, kind of sucks. And then once he did that, that body shot that he devastated Smith with, that was the beginning of the end for Smith. Oh, I was impressed. I was super impressed, man. His combos were flowing nice. Took him out.
I saw Ross Pearson in his corner, and Ross Pearson had been through many wars, one of the best guys out of the UK. And I knew that Malarkey was going to be one of those tough Brits that you see. And to put that much force into that body punch that devastated him, wow, it was holy shit. I wouldn't want to get hit with that.
No. You don't want to get hit with those kind of shots, man. It takes the wind right out of you and devastates you, which it did to Smith. Great win by Malarkey.
Yeah. As well. Yeah. So amazing, fun card as always, man. Really, really great. We've got UFC Apex early start again this coming weekend. The prelims start at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern time, and the main card starts at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern time. We've got a women's fight to start it off. Mackenzie Dern against Marina Rodriguez. Co-main has the Jamaican brother of yours, Randy Brown, facing Jared Gooden. Tim Elliott's fighting Nicolau. Phil Hawes and Darren Wynn. Yeah, what do you think of this card?
Pretty good card, not bad. I kind of thought that this card past was a little bit stronger than this card coming up, but at the end of the day, I'm kind of looking forward to the co-main event fight of Jared Gooden versus Rude Boy Randy Brown. I think that would probably be the best fight on the card, on the main card, personally, because it's a stylistic fight. Gooden coming in with power, Randy Brown with those long limbs can try to keep him at distance, and we'll see who can tough it out and win.
Yeah, we've got women's fights headlining 2 weeks in a row. Holly Holm against Norma Dumont a couple weeks from now. Then the big fight on the 23rd between Paulo Costa and Marvin Vittori. That one is going to be great. Bruce Leroy's fighting on that one. And then we've got the big one, UFC 267, Halloween Eve, Jan Blachowicz against Glover Teixeira, and the co-main, Peter Yan and Corey Sandhagen. Makachev against Hooker, Volkov against Tabura. Man, there's a lot of phenomenal fights on UFC 267. It's going to be a great month. Lots of good fight cards.
Yeah, a lot of good fight cards. Definitely looking forward to seeing UFC 267 because I want to know how good is Hooker.
Yeah.
I want to know how good he is because he's going against that guy, Makachev.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a testament to just how good Dan Hooker is.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So can't wait for all this. A few news and notes from the mixed martial arts world. They finally signed the deal between Dustin Poirier and Charles Oliveira. UFC 269 coming up. Can't wait for that fight. It's going to be amazing. This card was supposed to have Aspen Ladd on it. She missed weight and was pulled from the card. That's her third time missing weight. She was called out by many fighters. They were really angry at her. And I think she's going to have to choose a different weight class. Conor McGregor released some details about some of the pay-per-view buys this week. He said UFC 257 had 1.5 million pay-per-view buys, which turned out to be number 4 all time in the UFC. Behind him and Khabib, UFC 229 had 2.4 million. McGregor Poirier 1.8 million. McGregor Diaz 1.6 million. He said that UFC 257, the UFC grossed $100 million that night, and he wants more of it. He said he's the reason why the UFC has went from 4.2 billion that they sold for in 2016 to valued at $11 billion today. And he said he's the reason. He needs to get paid. He needs to be in the same class as Dana White money, he said. I don't see that happening, but he's back in the news again today.
Yeah, okay, so he's talking again. That's pretty cool, like he always does. I would say this to Connor. Maybe I got to start winning. You want big money.
Yeah.
I think winning is important.
Yeah.
Talking is cool. Winning is kind of the thing that gets you paid.
No kidding. Yeah. Good point. Exactly. He hasn't been on that. He hasn't been raising his hand in victory very often in the past few years here. So, yeah, I think he needs to get some victories. Then he can probably call his shots a little bit more.
Yeah, and then people can take him seriously because right now he just, that's just Cutter popping off at the mouth again. Awesome. Right on. Good stuff.
There was some talk about possibly the UFC releasing John Jones after his latest transgression and arrest. Do you see the UFC doing this?
No. Just no, because at the end of the day, he still makes money for the company.
Yeah.
And for everything that that other dude that we just talked about, Connor's done, come on. They're not going to do it. It's a threat. It's credible, but I just don't see it happening. I don't believe in it, not for a second. Nope.
Did you see the video of a audience member trying to attack Khabib on stage the other day?
Oh, that's dumb. Why would you ever want to, like, is he sick of living? He's like, this is how I want to go out by Khabib? Yeah? Because that's kind of what would happen.
Pretty nuts, eh? Pretty crazy. I don't know what the guy was trying to do, but he was holding his fists up. It was a question and answer session in England. He was on stage speaking. Suddenly he stood up and a guy jumped up and started saying, let's go, let's go. And Khabib was just like, get the hell out of here. And then boom, security tackled the guy, held him down, handcuffed him, and took him away. It was pretty nutty the way the guy came flying up on stage to try to attack him.
Well, yeah, I guess that was his 2 minutes of fame. And let's be honest here, he got lucky. It's better that security took you out than that guy take you out.
I know, man. Imagine, hey, holy cow. Yeah, insane. Yeah, it's pretty wild video. Take a look at it if you haven't seen it, Jason, or any of our viewers or listeners. Pretty wild. Yeah, so did we have a final score in our Monday nighter? 28-14, the Chargers took the victory. They got a late touchdown and huge win for the Chargers. Let's see. Jared Cook got the touchdown for them, their tight end, and they are all 3-1 in that AFC West. Really competitive, tight, tough, great division.
Yeah, and I just made myself $20. $20 right there.
Sweet. You get to go in and get some money for lunch tomorrow. It's awesome.
Yes, I do. Give me my lunch money, buddy. Give me my lunch money.
So, yeah, well, I was kind of caught off guard, started this new show, just boom, out of the blue today, but great news. You'll be joining us next week. Can't wait for that. We're going to be able to do this kind of chat all day long again. It's been a while since we've been able to talk at work about all the great sports we do. And it's always fun to do this on Mondays with you, though. Another great show.
Another great show, my friend. It's been excellent. And I look forward to more of these talks starting next week. It's gonna be great.
Super great. Super great. Okay, man. We'll have a really awesome week last week there. And thanks for doing this. I appreciate it. I know it was a little late tonight, so get some good sleep tonight so you feel better tomorrow.
Oh, I will for sure. You as well, my friend. You as well.
Okay. Thanks, buddy. Take care, man. Bye for now. Cheers.
Bye for now.
Okay. Another episode in the books. Love it. We're very faithfully dedicated to getting this done every single solitary Monday. And Jason's been amazing for doing this. Thank you to Lorraine again for all your help getting this done and put together. A little commemorative Raiders jersey up here. I got the Chargers one behind me here. You can't quite see the logo in the dark, but good win for the Chargers, making that very competitive division. Need to thank our partners and sponsors really quick. And do we have them up here? We do not. So let's thank Anchor FM. Thank you for all you do. A phenomenal partner for posting on multiple podcast platforms. Go to anchor.fm if you want to make a podcast. They call themselves the easiest place to make a podcast, and I would really agree. Verbero, the hockey equipment and apparel company, and the V350 stick is something that you need to get in your hands, people. Pampas Impossibilities, they design great dried florals, do floral arrangements and phenomenal things. And finally, Forever Living, the aloe vera company for health and beauty products. Appreciate all your support. Thank you so much to our partners and sponsors. And thanks to everyone that contributes on a weekly basis and watches these and listens to them on your podcast platforms. Thanks so much. Take care of yourself. Have a really great week ahead. Love you lots. Go to completemedianetwork.com and spread the word. Love you guys. Bye for now.